The Reds are promoting their top prospect, Chase Burns. Let's discuss on Fantasy Baseball Today Express. Welcome into FBT Express on Monday, June 23rd. I am Frank Stampfl, joined by Scott White. We got some big news this weekend as the Reds are promoting their top prospect, Chase Burns. He's 22 years old, the second overall pick in last year's draft, and he was crushing the minors. 177 ERA, 0.77 whip, 12.1 K per nine. He's up to 76% rostered on CBS. Scott, obviously must add wherever he's available. What about starting him right away? What do you think? Chase Burns faces the Yankees this week.
Well, starting him right away, you could. I wouldn't be afraid to, I guess is how I'd put it. In fact, I am so confident in how this is going to go for Chase Burns that I'm ranking him 41st among starting pitchers right away, which is certainly must roster territory and verging on must start. Would I played a little safe in his debut, particularly against a more prolific lineup? Ideally. But again, I wouldn't be afraid because I think Chase Burns honestly has the chance to be the most impactful call up for fantasy this season, given that in recent years we've seen starting pitchers have an easier time acclimate to the majors than hitters. We're talking about the highest end prospects anyway, which certainly fits Burns. I mean, he was considered the top pitching prospect in all of baseball at the time of this promotion. And part of that is because of how well he'd pitched, sort of like Paul Skeens 2 years ago when the Pirates drafted him. They put him on ice for the rest of that year and waited for him to make his professional debut the following year. The Reds did the same thing, drafting Burns second overall last year and then delaying his professional debut until this year. But it's gone as well as anyone could have hoped for. He's breezed through 3 levels, only got 2 starts at AAA, but the last was maybe his best of all, 7 innings, 7 strikeouts. Got 17 swinging strikes. The fastball and the slider, they both earned 70 grades from Baseball America coming into the season. And the control has, I think, is the main thing that's allowed Burns to move so quickly. He's thrown 68.1% of his pitches for strikes in the minors. That's been topped among major leaguers by only 5 pitchers, 68.1% swing strike rate, and then the swinging strike rate, 17.7%. That's been bettered by no major league qualifiers so far this year. So Burns was thoroughly dominating the minors. I suspect he's here to stay because he's taking the spot of an injured Wade Miley, who was no great shakes to begin with. And yeah, I think the Reds are ready to let him run with it. That's why I rank Chase Burns so optimistically.
Yep, totally get that. Again, 76% rostered for Chase Burns, wherever he's available, 10-team leagues, whatever it might be. You play on Yahoo, ESPN. This is a generational prospect here and must-add player in fantasy. Let's take a quick break, and when we return, we'll hit some other headlines. We'll do that right after this. Welcome back in FBT Express. Some other big headlines from the weekend. A big loss as Chris Sale went on the IL with a fractured left rib cage on Saturday. He made a diving play in the 9th inning of Wednesday's start, and apparently that is when he suffered the injury. Brian Snitker said he has no idea how long this injury will be for Chris Sale. Scott, do you have any idea how long this might be?
Well, it can vary. A fractured rib, it can be tough for a pitcher to come back from that. I think the average is 2 months, the absence, but it's not always that long. And the fact that the Braves are hesitating to name a timetable, to declare a timetable before the symptoms subside is how they've put it. leads me to believe that their hopeful will be on the shorter end. There was no wincing after that diving play from Sale. He seemed totally fine, struck out the next batter he faced, Pete Alonso, and didn't really feel the effects until the next day, which is not normally how these things go. So let's wait and see, but you got to brace yourself for the possibility that it might be a couple months for Sale.
Well, if you're looking for sleeper pitchers for this week, we have Shane Smith, Matthew Liberatore, Chad Patrick, Hayden Birdsong, Michael Wacha, Jose Soriano, Eduardo Rodriguez, Justin Verlander, Ben Brown, and Will Warren. Scott, of those names, I think the one that kind of stands out, at least for long-term, is Jose Soriano, who now has 3 strong starts in a row. He's pitching well. He's getting ground balls. He's getting whiffs now. He's throwing strikes. So I do like Soriano, assuming Chase Burns has already been added as a pretty clear Chris Sale replacement here.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, 3 starts in a row, that's a definite trend. 3 starts that you could say, or at least in the discussion, as the best starts of his career, all happening consecutively here. 2 of them with double-digit strikeouts. The ground balls were always there. He's been the best ground ball pitcher in the game all season long, has Soriano, but throwing more strikes has been a big part of this. And also the fact that his slider, it got 5 of his 19 whiffs in this latest start, even though he threw it only 10% of the time. And his usage on that pitch for the season, less than 10%. So it's not a pitch he uses often, but the effectiveness is to the point. Like it's been his best swing and miss pitch. So if Soriano begins to incorporate that slider a little more to play off what had been his best swing and miss pitch, the curveball, then he may take a leap here as a bat misser to go along with all those ground balls. And then it's just really the control that we need to watch out for.
It was also a rough weekend for catchers as Adley Rutschman went on the IL with a strained left oblique. He's expected to remain out through the All-Star break. Ivan Herrera is dealing with a grade 2 strain of his left hamstring, is expected to miss anywhere from 2 to 6 weeks. The Mets optioned Francisco Alvarez to AAA on Sunday, and Gabriel Moreno, who went on the IL Thursday, was diagnosed with a hairline fracture in his right pointer finger. So if you do need replacements in a 1-catcher league, Alejandro Kirk, Agustin Ramirez, and Tyler Stevenson feel like the top 3 names for now.
Yes, and Kirk, I think, especially stands out in points leagues because his strikeout rate is so low. I'm actually not sure if the bid went through yet or not, but I was actually prepared to drop JT Realmuto to pick up Kirk just because in that format anyway, I feel like Kirk is the better bet going forward. It's pretty close between him and Agustin Ramirez for Roto. I think Ramirez clearly has more upside. He hasn't quite performed up to the data totally, but he's playing plenty, and I think he's a pretty exciting pickup in his own right. If you're going to lose a catcher, this is the year to lose a catcher because the position has been abounding with talent. Seems like a new name's added every couple weeks, and those are a couple of good ones, Kirk and Ramirez.
All right, for more extensive fantasy baseball coverage, listen to our full-length podcast, Fantasy Baseball Today, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere else podcasts are found. Thanks for listening to Fantasy Baseball Today Express, and we will be back again tomorrow. Bye-bye.